Hello and welcome to the Ghibliotheque, the podcast that talks about some important news about the future of this very podcast. I'm Michael Leader.
I'm Steph Watts.
And I'm Jake Cunningham.
So, big news, the big P word.
Porco.
Porco.
Ponyo?
Ponyo. Princess Mononoke. Jake, treat me like a grandparent. What is Patreon?
Well, Patreon is our way of being able to do the podcast that we love doing and do more of it, I suppose. And so we are inviting you, our lovely listeners, to become a member and join us over on Patreon because we have, over the years, built up a nice community around Ghibliotheque. And we want to kind of create a space where we can all talk to each other and support each other and have a lot of fun in lots of different ways, I suppose. And yeah, we've been having a great time doing our bonus Library Cafe episodes over on Apple Podcasts for subscribers over there. And because we've had so much fun doing that, we want to kind of branch out and give that bonus content out to everyone via Patreon, but also use Patreon as more than just a tool to give people bonus episodes and use it more as a way of connecting with people, I would say. Yeah, you excited?
I'm really excited. It's all about getting involved.
Yeah.
And what I love doing is speaking with listeners about the expectations about where we could go next. Because we've talked about this on almost every episode. Like we started with Ghibli, we started from scratch, and we've gone on this journey. You've seen all the films, Jake. Then we branched out from Ghibli to bring Steph in to talk about Satoshi Kon and Cartoon Saloon, and which sort of, the sky is our limit in terms of where we can go next. And it's always really, exciting. Gives me a buzz to know where we could go.
Yeah.
Because the limits of our imagination are only between three people. But this is the opportunity here with something like Patreon to shape the future of the podcast, where we could go next. But also, yes, all of these things that we have been trialing in the past on Apple Podcasts, like the Library Cafe. How many of those have we done now?
So it's 20 or so Library Cafe episodes. And so if you do, well, I'll go through the details of the different Patreon stuff, but they're not going to kind of drift off into the distance, never to be heard again. They're going to be something that patrons can have access to too. Steph, you excited about this? Excited about making loads of alt accounts and just spamming us with requests that the next series should just be Carol and Tuesday over and over again?
Yes, you've got my plan down. I'm going to have to choose a different plan. But yeah, no, super excited. I think the community aspect is going to be really fun. I'm sure we're going to get into this with the tiers, but we're going to have a Discord so that everybody can get involved. I have had to have Discord explained to me like I'm a grandparent, but now I get it and I'm very excited. And yeah, just a great opportunity for us to kind of carry on making extra stuff and really like expanding the podcast, as well as doing all the main feed stuff. So yeah, this is a good chance for all of the listeners to have a say in where we go next. And
yeah, I think
some really hard anime to watch and talk about.
I think the moment that Michael started explaining Discord to Steph, the Zoom call just changed in a moment, and Steph became the screenshot from Howl's Moving Castle saying, "It's not easy being old."
Absolutely. Should we go through the tiers we've chosen and we've sort of built out, Jake?
Yes. So we've got a pair of siblings, you could say, of tiers in which you can support us. So there's the Mei and Satsuke tiers. So the Mei tier, that's £3 per month. And that's a great way of just showing that you support what we're doing on the main feed, and you want to just get a bit more involved in the community around the podcast and around Studio Ghibli. That's exactly what this tier is for. So as well as having that lovely, warm, comforting feeling of knowing that you're helping us carry on doing what we love to do. You get a few other things too. So as Steph mentioned, there's the Discord. You'll get access to that. I'm very excited about this Discord because that's a place not just to talk about what we're doing on the podcast, but talk about Ghibli, talk about wider anime, post pictures of your pets. We are going to have a channel exclusively for Ghibliotheque Pets Corner, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that space evolves over time and all the conversation that can be had in there. Really key part of this and all the Patreon activity is the power to vote on future episode subjects. So when we're looking at our next mini-series, whether that's a filmmaker or a studio, we want you, the listeners, to be guiding who that should be, because we know that the patrons are the people that are kind of most invested in the podcast, and so we want to be giving you the best stuff for you. And because you're giving us your hard-earned money, you will get a special thanks in one of our main feed episodes. You'll get ad-free access to all those main feed episodes. It's a lot that we're doing there, and almost as much as what we're doing in the Satsuki tier. So that gets you everything that I've just mentioned. So that is the Discord, the shaping future episodes, the special thanks, the ad-free episodes, all of that is included. But that is where you'll get access to brand new Library Cafe podcasts. Michael, what are those for those people that haven't had the chance to migrate over to Apple Podcasts and have a listen?
So we put those out every 2 weeks, and the strap line for that is the podcast where we talk about the things we do when we're not talking about the films of the world's greatest animation studio, Studio Ghibli. I almost did that perfectly there. So that could be something, all the things we do. We are wonderful, multifaceted people with all sorts of skills and talents and interests that aren't just Studio Ghibli. There is a world outside of it. So that's where we talk about other films we're watching, books we're reading, comics. That's where we talk about favourite teas. I'm currently being schooled by Jake on the right tea to drink. But our most recent episode in the Library Cafe is it was an example where we are going deep on a film that is very much related to what the episodes we've done in the past, which is Turning Red, the new Pixar movie directed by Domi Shi. And we interviewed Domi years ago, and so it's a great opportunity for us to go deep on a new release, which didn't really fit into the flow of the main feed. So this is where we do everything that isn't isn't related to the miniseries.
And it's not just films, is it, Steph?
No, we've talked about loads of stuff on there. We've talked about during the pandemic just going outside and like all the stuff that we did when we were allowed to go back to relatively normal life again. We've talked about reading manga. We've talked about
lots of video game chat as well.
Oh yes, so much video game chat. I'm looking forward to doing more of those. Looking forward to Michael's big Elden Ring review special. So yeah, loads of different topics to cover.
Yeah. So you'll be getting 2 of those a month, and you'll also get complete access to the archive. So that's 20 odd episodes of the Library Cafe that are already done. They're going to be immediately available to Patreons on the Satsuki tier. So lots there in the Library Cafe, but also for these patrons, we're going to be doing exclusive audio and video treats, which is nice and vague and exciting, because we want to use this as a platform to have a bit of fun and kind of experiment, and we would love to have you in our audience for that. So whether that might be quizzes or commentaries or let's play videos or Steph doing a stitch along for some embroidery, we don't know, but we're going to be posting lots of bonus stuff in there. And of course that is something that as a patron you can suggest to us as well, because you've got that power to comment and vote what is the other stuff you want to be seeing. We would love to have your thoughts on all that extra fun stuff we could be doing. So yeah, that's all that's going on in the Satsuki tier and the May tier. Those are £3 and £6. So hop on over to the Patreon. The link is going to be in all our social medias. We'll be posting about it as much as we can, and we would love to have you join us.
We do also have another mini-series coming around the corner. We're calling this one The Chat Bus. It's another interview mini-series with some very exciting special guests. So wait at the bus stop for that. It'll be along before you know it. We'll announce that on our social media pages very shortly. Until then, you can follow us on social media at Ghibliotheque on Twitter, ghibliotheque.pod on Instagram. You can follow us individually as well. Jake's over on Twitter at Jake H. Cunningham.
Steph's over there at _Steph Watts.
And Michael is there at Michael J. Leader.